Hello, back with another speed build. Yeah, this one I didn't really like the way it ended up looking on the outside. I wasn't really a fan, but I do really like the inside. So maybe you'll feel the same, or maybe you'll think the outside looks better. I mean, you won't because it just looks a bit odd. But there we go. Anyway, I've been feeling a little bit poorly lately. I've got a bit of a sore throat and all of my things hurt. So yeah, I think I'm coming down with something, but there is no way I'm going to the doctor because I don't know what the bill is going to be. It's times like this where I do miss I do miss the NHS, although who knows how long that's going to last. I think quite a lot of people unfortunately take advantage of the system. And you probably wouldn't be, if you've listened to my videos before where I've spoken about my brother, you probably wouldn't be surprised to hear that he is one of them. He's the biggest hypochondriac I've ever met, ever. I'll share a little nugget with you of the lengths he will go just for some kind of health-related assurance. So, he came to pick me up a while ago because, well, actually I called him and asked him if he wanted to do something. He said, yeah, okay, I'll come pick you up. And then when I got in the car, someone was on the phone, but it was like hold music he had on the hands-free. And he was like, oh, mate, I'm not doing too good. And I was like, well, the first thing I said was, well, then why did you say you wanted to hang out if you're not feeling well? And he was like, well, it's not like I've come down with something, it's just I've got a bit of a concern, but it's a bit embarrassing. So I said, okay, well, you don't have to tell me. And he was like, no, I'll tell you. He was like, basically, it is a bit embarrassing, but I've got a little problem down there. So I said, oh, okay, well, what's wrong? And he said, well, I just got this rash out of nowhere and I'm really, really freaking out about it. I've got 111 on the line now. For those of you that don't know what 111 is, it's not an it's a cross between an emergency line and not that much an emergency line. It's the number that you call when you have a medical concern and you need attention right away, but it's not serious enough to call an ambulance. So you're basically calling them to ask, so do you think I should call an ambulance? That's the whole purpose of 111. So anyway, he's on hold and literally, as soon as he told me that, the lady on the other line picks up the call, takes the phone off hold, and as he's driving us back to his house, which is only like a 10-minute drive, she's asking him all these questions, and of course the answer to all of them is no. You know, do you have this symptom? Do you have that? And he's just like, no, and he was saying to her, but you know, my wife thinks it's quite bad. She looked at it. So anyway, he's still on the phone. We get to his house. We go inside. He wanders off on the phone. And then I saw his wife. And I just sat with her and said, you all right? And she was like, oh, he's not still going on about his bloody cock, is he? And I said, well, he seems really worried about it. And she said, honestly, this is ridiculous. There's nothing wrong with it. And as she said that, my brother walked out of the kitchen and through the living room where we were sat, and all I heard of his conversation was, yeah, and my wife looked at it and she said, that ain't right. And then he walked off again. And so he came off the phone, came into the living room, and I said, so, what's the verdict? And he said, well, they think I should just see how I go. And I said, for how long then? And he said, well, they think I should give it a few days and see if it goes down. So I was like, oh, okay. And he was like, yeah, I phoned him because Mum said. And I was like, you told Mum about the rash on your penis, for goodness sake. So that wasn't quite enough for Liam to just hear the words, oh, just give it a few days. No. So then he phones the doctor at his doctor, which is right by our mum's house. As I mentioned before, they all live in the same tiny village, so we're all like a 5-minute walk from each other. Apart from me, I moved out, so that's why my brother had to come pick me up, although I do drive, I'm just lazy. But yeah, so he's on the phone to the doctor, and again, I can only hear his side of the conversation because I'm not on the phone, but I just hear him say, yeah, well, I've just spoken to 111 and they said I really need to get it checked out now. And so then my brother gets in the car and he's like, right, I'm going to have to go down to the medical centre. You coming? And I was like, well, I'll go because I want to go see Mum. So if you go to the medical centre, I'll just get out and go to Mum's house. So that's what we did. And he was still on the phone to the doctor, and as he was driving, so the doctor said to him, you know, we're going to be closing in a minute, so we don't really have time to see you, but what were you doing before you noticed the rash? And my brother was like, well, basically, I just got out of the bath, and I just noticed that it's like it was on fire, doctor. It was bright red, like a tomato. And the doctor was like, okay, how hot was the bath? And my brother was like, what? And the doctor was like, how hot was the bath? And my brother was like, oh, I don't follow, mate, I don't follow. So the doctor was like, I'll tell you what, because the doctor knows what my brother is like. He knows my brother very well. As I said, he's a hypochondriac. So the doctor was like, I'll tell you what, if you can get here in 5 minutes, I'll take a look. So my brother's like, roger that. So he's like speeding to get to the doctor's surgery. I hop out, go to Mum's. Then he comes over about 5 minutes later, and I was like, so what did the doctor say? He said, well, he reckons it's fine. He took a look at it and he said it was probably because I got out of a hot bath, and that's why it was a little bit red. So there you go, folks. That's a real life story of someone royally abusing the NHS system. Anyway, I better cut it off here. Thanks for listening. Have a good day. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.